Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and in the studio with me is Tim Carpenter, the National Director of Progressive Democrats of America, pdamerica.org, the guy to whom I dedicated my new book, The Crash of 2016. And you are one of my political heroes, Tim.
Well, Tom, thanks.
You're just doing spectacular work. So what's PDA up to?
We just concluded, I think we're becoming a fixture now. Thanks for having us back, first of all. We just concluded our 10th Progressive Roundtable on the Hill, where we bring together members of Congress from the Congressional Progressive Caucus with progressive activists to talk about our legislative agenda with the Paul Ryan, Patty Murray bill being released last night. We had an incredible gathering, great turnout.
This was today.
Today, I'm literally out of the cabin over here.
So what's the consensus among the members of the at least the members that you had visiting you of the Progressive Caucus about this piece of legislation? It seems to me like it's not as bad as something that's worse.
Perfect. No, that's the best way to describe it. I've been coming up here with the drumbeat with you saying citizen action holding elected officials accountable. Had we not been on a constant drumbeat in regards to hands on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, it was the consensus of all the members we've talked to. It could have been much worse.
Yeah.
So in that sense, good. The things, of course, as PDA that we can do better, there's still $81 billion for Afghanistan. We got to get that out of there. And I think the most unconscionable thing is the turning their back on the chronically unemployed. Those cuts are the ones that are going to be really tough.
Well, so, is that going to be dealt with in a separate legislation?
It's hard to say. It's Congressman Jim McGovern said if the Democrats were a majority, at least we'd have a vote before people went home. And as you know, Congressman McGovern's been leading the fight on food stamps, on the SNAP program, and shared with us where we are on that. So the good with the bad, the glass half full, citizen activism kept the cuts better, but we're still playing too much defense. So today was about how do we play more offense? Where's the Robin Hood tax? Where's the discussion on the carbon tax? So both Jim McGovern and Alan Grayson were with us. But I think just as important were the citizen activist leadership here in the Beltway. John Cabana from the Institute for Policy Studies was there to share with us a 20-year strategy on how to move the country in a progressive direction. Laura Wallach, who's been the iconic hero of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the gains we're making there, things are looking good.
Yeah, Lori was on our TV show night before last.
So you know all that good stuff. So she was with us there as well. So it was an engaged group, standing room only. And at the same time, we're beginning to deliver our letters. Last month, PDAers were in 230 districts. Today, we committed ourselves to 270 to go to members of Congress to stop the fast track on the TPP, to put the money back into the food stamps program. So it was a very good day for us.
That is great. You know, spin that mic back around.
I'm back.
There we go. Yeah. That is great news, and we're talking with Tim Carpenter. He's the National Executive Director of Progressive Democrats of America, the website pdamerica.org, a completely independent organization, not part of, related to, in any way, the Democratic Party, other than that you work with progressive Democrats to try to help the Democratic Party recover its roots.
We're the insurgency. We believe we need a second party before we get a third party. So our fight is inside the Democratic Party to get us back to our progressive roots.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really important. So I got the press release from Bernie on this morning. Of course, he's on the committee. You know, he's on that committee that put this thing together, and he had been apparently very, very aggressive in saying, "You go near Social Security, I will blow this thing up." But they didn't. They didn't go after Social Security.
In addition to that, Bernie, in case people missed it again, another one under the radar, introduced his single-payer bill again.
Yeah, on Monday.
So while the corporate media is fixated with the computer glitch and how many people are enrolling, the fight for single-payer moves on. And there's Bernie Sanders once again reintroducing the legislation at the Senate level with Jim McDermott at the congressional level that will allow us as progressive activists to move forward while Washington remains stalled on the question of single-payer. These bills will help us to get the tools so that we can continue to move forward, similar to what Tommy Douglas did in Canada when he started in Saskatchewan. And Bernie, again, is there. And there's quite a buzz now on whether or not he's going to get into the presidential race now. So it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I think the first mention he made of that was on this program, actually. And he just kind of casually mentioned it. So somebody called and asked him if he'd run for president. He said, you know, if that's what it takes to get the conversation going, yeah.
Well, he'll certainly.
Like, whoa. I was really surprised because he has been asked that question probably. I mean, he's been on this program every Friday for at least 8 years and maybe longer. And he's been asked that question probably 300-400 times. And I was just waiting for him to say, as usual, no, I'm quite happy being the senator from. And he was like, oh, yeah, I might think about it. Whoa.
No, I mean, that's what we're about. We need to have our voice in this presidential election. So many people are already conceding to Hillary, and we're a long ways out from that, of course. But to have Bernie Sanders in there raising those important questions, I can't think of a better person at this point in time where we are in the political landscape. Elizabeth Warren is certainly emerging, but she's doing a lot of good stuff in the Senate right now.
She is. And although, if she runs, she'll have actually been in the Senate longer than Obama.
No, she'll be definitely, and more credentials as far as accomplishments, I would guess, by the time we get to 2016, if she continues on the arc that she's on.
Yeah. Why is it that in the Senate, which Democrats control, although I'll concede that Harry Reid is no progressive, why is it why is it that they don't just double down every time the Republicans, when the Republicans say, okay, we want to cut unemployment from 99 weeks down to 80 weeks or whatever it is, why don't the Democrats then immediately the same day introduce legislation expanding it from 100 weeks to 120 weeks or expanding the payments by 10%? Every time the Republicans say, okay, we need to cut taxes by 5%, why don't the Democrats come back and say, no, we need to roll back the Reagan tax cuts? Well,
we've got to create a movement where they can find the backbone to do it, Tom. I'd love to see that. I mean, we're struggling in the House right now with the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and where were they on the fight? I mean, let's take the public option or the the Affordable Care Act. Why didn't the progressives double down and come back and say, we're going to hold our 72 votes for Medicare for all single payer? I mean, that's the fight we have. And the Senate's
I think they were afraid that you'd see a repeat of 1974 or 72 or whatever the year was when Nixon actually proposed.
Yeah, Ted Kennedy regrets it.
Yeah, Nixon basically proposed Obamacare. I mean, in almost all the details. And Ted Kennedy fought him and said, no, it's not single payer, so ain't going to happen.
No, it's interesting. In his last year or so, he admitted that he had made a tactical mistake on that. Well, that's the question we have as progressive Democrats. Where's the backbone within our party? Right. Where is the resolve to hold the line on these fundamental questions? We're seeing some of it now in the Social Security fight, which is encouraging that we've got some real leadership. Again, part of the discussion today was Social Security Works, Alec Lawson, who's doing great grassroots work, beginning all the way back, if you remember, when we began with the fight on this almost, how long ago was it, when the hearings began almost two and a half, 3 years ago, that constant drumbeat. So at the grassroots level, we're definitely got their backs. We're just kind of looking for that leadership. In the Senate, where hopefully this time in this cycle, we can elect some more Elizabeth Warrens in the Senate that might hold the line or certainly advance some of these issues you're talking about.
Yeah. It's time. I mean, it's the time is coming. And once again, Progressive Democrats of America is causing this to happen. How?
Well, we're part of a larger social movement working inside and outside the Democratic Party. What's unique about Progressive Democrats of America is the fight inside, as we said, the insurgency, but also on the outside. We believe there's an intersection where social movements can come together to bring that energy inside the party. So in that way, we're unique. We're part of, as I say, a larger social movement. We make it happen at the grassroots level. Virtual phone calls, people getting on phone calls on specific issues, whether it be fracking last month with your help, your assistance, showing your great videos. We picked up 7 new co-sponsors on the fracking legislation that's in Congress right now. Wow. Incrementally, step by step, some of the hardest work on the inside. On the outside, keeping the heat on, risking arrest, doing petitions, doing candlelight vigils, whatever it is. But PDA brings together those movements. So we encourage folks to visit the website, get registered online, find an issue that's important to them, and be involved. I think the biggest part is to get people off the couch and out into the streets and up here in Congress and being part of the roundtables.
And people can actually invite people into their home if they're inclined, or they can visit somebody else's home and have a meeting, right? You guys
and one of the things we'd encourage people tomorrow night from 5 to 7 Eastern time, we're going to be doing a live stream from a great restaurant out here called Busboys and Poets. 5 of the most progressive members of Congress are going to be with us to celebrate. We have things to celebrate. So bring your friends together tomorrow night and watch online. Go to pdamerica.org, watch the live stream, share it with your friends. But as you said, Tom, what's important about PDA is whether it's 2, 5, or 8 of you meeting, you can make a difference, and we hopefully can provide you some of those tools to put you in touch with people in your neighborhood who share those same beliefs.
There you go. Tim Carpenter, Progressive Democrats of America, pdamerica.org. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
pdamerica.org. Be sure to check it out. We'll be back.